Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2016 GMC Sierra 2500, we're going to be checking out the B&W Patriot sliding fifth wheel hitch. So you have your fifth wheel rails installed in your truck, and now you're needing a hitch. That way you can hook up to your trailer and do some towing, whether it be a camper or car hauler, whatever you got. You know, you're going to need a way to hook up to it, and that's where a hitch like this is going to come into place. When it comes to towing, if you're familiar with it at all, I'm sure you've heard of that B&W name. There's a reason for it. They make really good parts and products, very well built, you know, right here in USA, which you don't get too often anymore. And it's just one of those things that fit really good and work like how you would expect it to. And with this particular setup, this is going to be a slider. All right, so what that means is this can actually move back and slide back. I believe it's 12 inches, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason for that is for trucks that have short beds, like our Sierra does here today. And it's kind of getting more and more popular. You see a lot of the more late model trucks, the long beds are kind of getting phased out almost, you know, at least from what I see on the road. And so you're going to want a sliding type hitch like this if you have a short bed. That way this will move back and it'll get you more clearance, because what can happen, let's say if this is all the way up, or even a fixed type hitch, you know, your trailer overhangs, and when you go to make those super tight turns, like if you're backing into a parking spot or at the campsite or trying to maneuver around in these tight places, you know, that trailer starts to get kind of jackknifed almost, and you can, you know, it'll hit the cab corners of the truck in the front of the trailer and damage everything. So clearly don't want to do that. Would like to avoid that. And so when you get ready to make those super sharp turns, which generally speaking you're going slow, you're being deliberate anyway, you realize you need to do that. You can come out here, hit the lever. There's a couple other small easy steps you got to do to slide this back. That'll give you the space you need to make that tight turn and do what you need to do. This will work with all the industry standard type fifth wheel rails. So in our truck today we have the B&W custom fit kit, which is my thought. If you're setting this up all new, you know, might as well kind of go with the matching brand. You know, it just fits a little bit better in my opinion. And if you have an embed, or I'm sorry, like a puck OEM factory type system hitch, these are available for those as well. If you have a long bed, these are available on a fixed type hitch. So there's a bunch of different variations that'll kind of cover all the bases and cover your particular situation. But with that said, you know, this is going to be able to handle quite a bit of weight. So 18,000 pound gross trailer weight rating, the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So the weight of the trailer plus anything that you might have in it or on it. And a 4,500 pound vertical load limit, which is going to be the amount of weight pushing down on it. With that said, I do always like to suggest, never a bad idea just to grab your truck's owner's manual and check in there, make sure that you can handle that much weight safely. I am a fan of the locking jaw system here. So when you pull this handle out, you know, you'll back up. This will clamp around the kingpin. You get a full 360 degrees. You know, super thick steel. You're not going to have any issues there. And this will also kind of help with, at least in my opinion, that chucking and clunking around. Since it's a nice tight fit, you know, it's not going to have that wiggle room in there as much to kind of clunk around when you're going down the road. This is a pretty heavy unit. So definitely a two-person job to get this in and out of the bed, the truck. So just kind of have a heads up with that. They do make the head detachable, which is nice. So that pops off and lightens the load by quite a bit there, make it a little bit easier on your back and more manageable. But if you're going to be putting this thing, taking it in and out a lot, be prepared for that. A lot of people probably aren't going to want to do that. And so what a lot of people end up doing is getting a tonneau cover. And luckily for us today, we actually have one on our truck. This one actually sits a little bit lower than the majority of tonneau covers out there, generally speaking, at least in my opinion, and we still have clearance. Now granted, you can adjust the head of the hitch accordingly. I put ours in the middle So this could go up a little bit higher or down a little bit lower, but we're still able to actually clear the tonneau cover, and probably would get away with, if we had it in the highest position, it would probably clear as well. But you know, I know a lot of people end up going with something like this and wondering about it. And so really not a ton of issue there. And honestly, if you had to, you know, if you had this all the way up and it ends up hitting, you could always just pop the head of it off this piece, and that'll give you more than enough clearance after that. And at least you kind of get, you know, the clearance you need and not have to deal with taking the whole entire thing out of the bed. Other than that though, at the end of the day, you know, not a whole lot more to it. If you're looking for a fifth wheel hitch, the B&W products are ones you really can't go wrong with. Rarely run into issues with them, and it should last you a long time.